Was Abraham Lincoln a president?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just a whatever public figure.
Welcome back to Delulu Diaries, where the timelines don't match, but the receipts always do. Last week I did 2 videos talking about Mama Lynn, and you guys had such positive feedback about those videos that I thought we would do a similar style today, but talking about Aunt Tammy, because she's another one that I'm not 100% sure how I fall on thinking about her. And so if you missed those videos last week, I went over some comments from you guys and just said where my thoughts were. So we're going to do the exact same thing today. All right, so this first comment, it references a timestamp. So in the video, what I was talking about at that timestamp was saying that I don't think that we can trust everything that Tammy has to say, because Tammy does have something to gain from lying about Amberlynn. So this person puts the timestamp and says, strongly disagree. She never gets any monetary compensation when she goes and spills tea. Also, it's always on someone else's channel. Plus, Tammy is very mic drop. She comes in, says what she needs to say, and dips out without collecting anything. Unlike, I hate to say it, but Beck. So I'm not going to touch on the last part right now, because I do plan on making a video regarding my feelings on Beck in just a little bit. Like, I've been really trying to get to it. But regarding the first part, I never said that Tammy got monetary compensation out of it. What I said is that she has a reason to lie. Now, this is speculation. I can't confirm 100%, but in my opinion, from what I see, I believe that everybody that we have seen and heard from in Amber's family is a little bit narcissistic. I don't necessarily think that they're all narcissist, but you can have narcissistic traits without being a full-blown narcissist. And while I do think that that term gets thrown around way too much, I think that it's fair to put that kind of terminology on this family in particular, because when I was going to therapy, I did mention some narcissistic traits of somebody in my family, and the therapist, who was a fully licensed therapist, told me that when you have somebody who is a narcissist or has narcissistic traits in a family, it is very common for those traits to not be passed down as such, but kind of just by being around somebody like that, it's easy to take on those traits yourself if you are around them when you're young. And so for that reason, I think that it kind of makes sense that if Mama Lynn has narcissistic traits, that Amber would have also inherited those narcissistic traits from nurture, not from nature, if that makes sense. But where did Mama Lynn get them from? So if Grandma Lynn potentially has narcissistic traits, which we've heard some things that make me feel like it could be a possibility, but not enough for me to say any strong opinion that I have on that. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that Grandma Lynn does have some narcissistic traits. That would mean that both Mama Lynn and her sister Tammy would be able to inherit those traits by growing up in that household, if that makes sense. So it's not something that's guaranteed, because I know a lot of you guys do say that you have narcissistic parents or narcissist in your family. So if you have a narcissist in your family, it's not guaranteed that you will also either become a narcissist or have narcissistic traits, but it is just something that can happen. And so for that reason, I don't think that it is completely out there to think that the entire family may suffer from at least narcissistic traits, if that makes sense. And we are going to get into a comment in just a minute here that will expand upon that. But for now, what I want to say regarding this comment is that I don't think that Tammy gains anything monetary from coming out against Amber, but it must really fuel her ego, because when Tammy originally came out, she said that she was getting really tired of being behind the scenes, trying to get Amber to better her health and do better for herself, and that it's just come to a head and she doesn't want to do that anymore. She wants to come out and speak her piece on Amber and get that validation. So while that's not necessarily something that is needing to have narcissistic traits attached to it, I am saying that for Tammy herself, she did say that she came out here for validation. And so yes, that could come from a place of just genuinely, I feel crazy because nobody is talking about how bad my niece is. But on the other hand, the entire internet is talking about what Tammy was feeling. And it is valid for her to come out and want to share her piece. But at the same point, I don't think that we can take it for 100% just therapeutic purposes, because Tammy has come out frequently about like a lot of different things. And so it does make me think that there may be something a little bit more nefarious at play, where just like Amber, Tammy might not need the money aspect of it, but she may enjoy the entertainment of being like, oh, well, I'm the black sheep in my family, but here on the internet, when I come and say things about Amber, like telling the spaghetti story, I get a lot of praise and people are like fawning over me and I'm just like number one or whatever. So that's what I think that she stands to gain. I truly don't know how I feel about it. If I feel like Tammy is just somebody trying to be vindicated and is being a little bit messy with it. I'm sorry if you guys hear my dog in the background. I don't know if she's trying to just get vindication and she's just being messy with it, or if she is just like truly trying to fuel her ego. But that is the part that makes me skeptical to believe everything that Tammy has to say, because obviously, even if we don't take money into account for it, there is other stuff she could be gaining, like the ego boost, like feeling more, I don't even know if to say powerful, but like, you know, there is something to say for the feeling you get when the entire internet is behind your back. I guess that's where I'm going to leave it for now. So let's go ahead and jump into the next comment. This person says, just watched a Geordie stream with Aunt Tammy in chat, and she implied Mama Lynn goes where the money is. I'm going to skip a little bit here because it's about Mama Lynn. She goes on to say, no one in the Amberverse is a reliable narrator, and Tammy is no exception. Kind of made me feel the ick seeing so many in Geordie's chat fawning over her. Reacting to an interview with her, Tiny Blue Anthropologist pointed out several things she said that made her sound like a narcissist. I wonder what traits Mama Lynn picked up. So she does continue on there. If you guys want to read it, it's up on the screen, but I just wanted to read out the relevant parts for Tammy. And this is exactly what I was talking about. So I'm not the only one who sees that Tammy has some potentially narcissistic traits. Now, I don't know what Tiny Blue Anthropologist had to say about it, but the things to me that gave me a weird feeling about Aunt Tammy, whether we want to put narcissistic labels on it or not, is that, yes, Tammy had reason to come to the internet and like clear her name in a sense, to be like, hey, Amber has talked badly about me before. This is how I feel about the situation, whatever. The thing is, there was no reason for Tammy to necessarily have the phone call that she had with Amber. I've seen people talk about how that's the only way to get Amber to take accountability is to be on the phone with her in front of a live audience. And I think that that is somewhat valid. So I would say that like on a scale of 1 to 10 on how like shady that is, I would put it at maybe a 5, because I truly can see both sides of that. Like on the one hand, it must be very healing to have somebody have to take accountability in that way. But on the other hand, it is family and it feels like, you know, maybe it's something you could just let go. Okay, I'm editing and I just wanted to clarify this part. I don't mean let go as in like let Amber off the hook 100%. What I mean is like not bringing it to the internet. Like she could have just handled it by talking to Amber and saying, listen, I've been trying for a really long time. You're refusing to take any accountability in the situation. I'm done, and like cutting her out. That's what I mean by this part, but let's get back to the video. I don't recall exactly what was going on at that time, but I don't think that Tammy was being particularly scrutinized by Amber. I believe that this was right around the time that Rarity had gone missing, because I remember that I wanted to start my YouTube channel back then and talk about Rarity, and then this Tammy stuff came out, and so I was like, well, now we have to kind of focus on the Tammy stuff and not the Rarity stuff. So I don't really know why Tammy came out at that particular time. If you guys know something from that era that I am just forgetting, please let me know in the comments down below, because I think that that would be valuable information. That being said, other things that I think are interesting is like the fact that Amber said that Tammy hadn't been in her life long, and Tammy wanted to rebut that, but she threw in this like soundbite basically about Amber getting the spaghetti and her dad being like, that's enough, Amber, or whatever. And Tammy didn't have to say that. Like, I understand that she was trying to get Amber to remember, but also I think she knew exactly what she was doing by putting that soundbite out there. She knows Amber's audience. By her own admission, she's been watching Amber pretty much since day one when Amber started doing these vlogs. Now, has she missed days? Sure. But she knows what Amber's audience is like and what they're going to take and run with. So I fully believe that that was done as like a way to twist the knife. And so again, it's like, I can see how somebody would just be like at the end of their string and just be saying whatever they want to in the moment and not really thinking about it. But at the same time, Tammy has come out before, like before all of this, if you guys aren't on any of like the background sites or anything like that, she had come out on, I think it was Kiwi Farms, and I want to say she was on another website too, but honestly, my memory is so sketchy because I mostly just watched through YouTube. Like before I had my own channel, I never went to secondary sites for Amber. I just got my tea from the tea channels and that was it. But I know Tammy has come out before talking about Amber on an outside site, not YouTube. Then she came to YouTube and she made a couple of like videos or shorts or whatever, just implying that she was going to talk about Amberlynn, and then she appeared on Jordy's channel talking to him. I don't know if she got in contact with Snowflake, but I remember at one point she was like coming to Jordy's channel at least kind of regularly. So to me, it's just like coming out once to say your piece, hearing Amber, and then like rebuttaling to Amber. I can understand. I still think that's kind of messy because like really I didn't feel like there was much of a point for her to come out, but at the same point in time, I can understand wanting to get that vindication. So it kind of goes both ways. But at a certain point, it just does become like, okay, well, you like keep getting involved in this internet drama. And I understand that Amber is in her life, but she said she wanted to cut Amber out and just be done with it. So if you want to just be done with it, then why continue to come to this community? It feels like it's for more than being done with it. It feels like she wants to be a part of the community and get that kind of, as this person said, that fawning, that like everybody being like head over heels with Tammy because Tammy comes with the real tea because obviously she knows Amber in person. And because of that, I feel like we can't fully trust her because it does seem like she is only coming out and doing these mic drop kind of situations in order to kind of fuel her ego, if that makes sense. Because here's the other thing that is like weird to me is why bring up Tammy's feud with Mama Lynn over the grandma's house? Like there's no reason to bring that up. So it just, I don't know, there's just these little things that make me feel kind of weird about Tammy, and I don't think that she should be like seen as this hero. If you really look at it, what she has done is a little strange. And yes, was the drama great? Of course. Like I enjoyed when Aunt Tammy came out and talked about Amber. I thought it was really like interesting to see a person in Amber's life come out and talk about what that was like. But at the same time, it's just, some of it sounds a little too fantastical in my opinion. And so I do take what Tammy says with a grain of salt. I don't take it as gospel. I don't take it as like, oh, well, Amber said this and Tammy said this, so Tammy clearly is the one that's telling the truth. Because even aside from just like who's more believable, memory is not definitive. Like two people can remember the same situation differently and both be right or both be wrong, just in different ways. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that Tammy has narcissistic traits? Do you think that people are like looking way too deep into this and that she's just like fed up with her niece and needed a place to vent? What do you think about her coming back in multiple different ways, as well as having come out before and talking about Amber on the internet? Like, I don't know. It feels like kind of weird behavior between an aunt and a niece, but at the same time, the situation is weird. So it does kind of warrant a little bit of weirdness. But yeah, I'm still trying to formulate my opinion, and I think you guys are so smart and always have so much insight. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say and if maybe my opinion changes. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you made it this far, you already know. Stay Delulu, but not that Delulu. And I'll catch you in the next one.